Now your starting lineups. For St. Joe's at forward, a 6'8" senior from Hampton, Virginia, number 5, Boo Williams. For Indiana at forward, a 6'8" junior from Galveston, Indiana, number 30, Ken Mitchell. For St. Joe's at forward, a 6'5" senior from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, number 44, John Smith. For Indiana at forward, a 6'10" junior from Indianapolis, Indiana, number 32, Landon Colonel. For St. Joe's at center, a 6'10" freshman from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, number 23, Tony Costner. And at center for Indiana, a 6'9" senior from Anderson, Indiana, number 45, Ray Colbert. For St. Joseph's at guard, a 6'2" junior from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, number 12, Jeffrey Clark. And at guard for Indiana, a 6'1" sophomore from Chicago, Illinois, number 11, Isaiah Thomas. At guard for St. Joseph's, a 6'4" junior from Burlington Township, New Jersey, number 13, Brian Waring. And at guard for Indiana, a 6'6" junior from Indianapolis, Indiana, number 24, Randy Fitchman. The head coach, ladies and gentlemen, for St. Joseph's, Jim Lynham, and the head coach for the Indiana Hoosiers, Bobby Knight.
The starting lineups for Indiana and St. Joseph's. Now let's return to our studio for these messages. Officials today, Bobby Dibbler of the WAC Conference, Dale Kelly of the SEC, and James Howell of the Southern. Indiana and St. Joseph have met only one time previously. St. Joe's beating the Hoosiers back in 1969 in a consolation game of the Quaker City Tournament in Philadelphia. As you look at the Hawks of St. Joseph's as they match up against the Hoosiers of Indiana. Indiana coming in at 23-9 after the slow start. They were 7-5 coming out of December. They have come on. They've won 9 of the last 10, capping it off by winning the Big Ten championship. Tony Costner, Ray Tolbert, and we're underway. Indiana controls, and here's Isaiah Thomas, Ted Kitchell. Isaiah trying to force it down low for Landon Turner.
On a defensive end, St. Joseph's will play two types of zone, a 2-3 and a 3-2. Against the 3-2, Isaiah will play out top and try to occupy all three people, and they'll shoot the ball from the wing. If they go into a 3-2, Isaiah will run the baseline. Whitman, who had the hot hand here on Friday night. This is Kitchell, yes, and Indiana leads by the score of 2-0. As I said, against a 2-3, you can look for Whitman and Kitchell to get that foul line extended jumper. They've both been shooting well as of late. That's obviously the shot St. Joe's has to guard against. 44 is John Smith, the hero of the victory over DePaul. This is Jeffrey Clark, who quarterbacks the team. Clark, a junior out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And notice immediately, St. Joseph's is going to spread the floor. They did this against DePaul. You're going to see Indiana. They're going to have to extend their defense. I do believe St. Joseph's has one advantage. They are a half-step quicker along the front line. And a 5-second violation called, so they will jump it up. And immediately we heard the boos from the crowd here at Assembly Hall in Bloomington. The slow-down game will be booed throughout the afternoon. Well, and it's designed to take the crowd out of the ball game. I think it's a great idea. And we'll go to Indiana. Last touch by St. Joseph. Steve, do you think that St. Joe's can get away with slow down against Indiana? Well, they're going to try. I don't know. Indiana's defense, obviously, there you see their home record. Indiana's going to try to take every single phase of the game away. I think this. I think for St. Joseph to be in the ball game, I think Williams and McFarland have to combine for 30 points.
Randy Whitman giving Indiana a 4-0 lead, and Whitman comes off a 7-for-11 shooting performance against Alabama Birmingham here on Friday night. Brian Warren. Yes. So Warren, the junior out of Burlington Township, New Jersey, with St. Joe's first field goal, and Indiana leads by the score of 4-2.
You notice St. Joseph's with the full court pressure. You can do that against Indiana. When they break the press as they did in that situation, if Isaiah Thomas doesn't have the ball, they're going to bring it back out. The only time you'll get hurt is if Isaiah's got it, because he'll take it to the basket right like this. He'll usually do it a little more effectively.
That time a traveling violation is called. And St. Joseph's will take over. John Smith, Bo Williams, Tony Costner up front, Brian Warren, Jeffrey Clark, and the backcourt. And Kitchell off the board. 2.5 minutes have gone by. Indiana 4 and St. Joseph's 2. Isaiah looking inside, but Costner did a good job on Tolbert.
And once again, the zone is a 1-2-2, and it gives the impression of the 3-2. Isaiah will be out top trying to occupy those 3 people. They'll play the rest of them 4-on-2.
Isaiah. And Indiana will maintain possession. Friday night, Indiana defeating Alabama Birmingham 87-72. Last Saturday, the Hoosiers walloped Maryland 99-64. It's the first time Indiana has made it this far since they won it all back in 1976.
I remember that game well.
Steve, what were you doing on that day?
Well, I was the starting guard on the losing squad down at the Spectrum.
Tolbert. And Indiana leads 6-2. Ray Tolbert, who hit 8 for 12 here Friday night against Alabama Birmingham.
If there has been a reason for the late surge of the Indiana Hoosiers, it's been the offensive play of Landon Turner and Ray Tolbert, both in double figures, 8 of the last 10 games.
Jeffrey Clark setting it up for the Hawks of St. Joseph's. Clark pops and hits. Indiana 6 and St. Joseph's 4.
Once again, you break the press. If Isaiah doesn't have it, they're going to hold it, set it up, look for that good one.
Randy Whitman, trap gets it back out for Isaiah Thomas. This is Kitchell. Here's steal by Clark and the foul call. Jeffrey Clark looking to deflect it away from Ted Kitchell.
Well, and I'll tell you, if you watch the play real closely, I think you could give an argument for Kitchell using his arm to ward off Clark as he was going for the ball.
However, Clark picks it up. That's his first. Randy Whitman, nice move on Clark. Indiana hitting a shots here early with an 8-4 lead.
While Isaiah may be the exciting player on Indiana's squad, certainly Whitman has been the most consistent player. Game in, game out, he handles the ball well. An excellent shooter. Doesn't shoot very often off the dribble like that, but as you can see, very capable.
Warren. Look out. Clark looking for a travel, but he's called for the block on Thomas.
Well, this is the situation when if you can catch the offensive player at the outlet, you will draw that charge. Certainly, they'd like to get Isaiah out in foul trouble.
And a timeout has been called. 5 minutes have gone by here in Wilmington, Indiana, and Indiana leads St. Joe's 8-4.
The upsets have been unbelievable. The heart-stopping endings have made you breathless. Now the action climaxes in the semifinals Saturday and the championship game Monday night. This is it.
All right, here's that outlet pass from Landon Turner of Indiana.
And here's the problem. You see, once again, Isaiah Thomas, he's got to look back towards the baseline for the ball. If you continue up the court like that and the defensive player has position, obviously you're going to get blindsided in the ensuing charge. No question that foul trouble by Isaiah Thomas would be greatly to St. Joe's advantage.
All right, Steve, for St. Joseph's, this their 11th NCAA appearance. They have never been to the Final Four. They are the Cinderella team of the tournament. It's a school that went through 4 straight seasons without a winning record, from 75 to 78. Then Jim Lyman returned to his alma mater, and they have turned it around. Indiana with an 8-4 lead. We are early first half. Nice move by Whitman, changed his mind, and they started all over again.
I don't think there's any question that the lower scoring the ball game, the more St. Joe's likely to come out on top.
Isaiah Thomas with his first field goal. So the sophomore out of Chicago, Illinois, was averaging 15 per game. Gives Indiana a 10-4 lead.
Both of these teams have played different styles during the season. They've both been involved in low-scoring ball games. They've both been involved in high-scoring games. I happen to think there's going to be more action than most people suspect.
Pass touched by St. Joseph's. Indiana has hit 5 of 6 from the floor. And St. Joe's now only 2 of 6 from the floor. Randy Whitman talking with Coach Bob Knight as he moved down. 6.5 minutes gone by in this first half. And St. Joseph's will take over. A look at how the Hoosiers of Indiana got here as they clobbered Maryland. And that score against UAB, Alabama Birmingham, really does not tell the story. Alabama Birmingham, in only their 3rd year of basketball under Gene Bartow, really hung in.
Well, and Indiana plays so well towards the latter stages of the season. In Bobby Knight's 10 seasons, in his last 10 games each season, 100 total games, his record 81-19. So when it's on the line, his team performs.
That's an astounding statistic. Here's Costner. Tony Costner, the 6'10" freshman, hitting for St. Joe's. Indiana now leading 10-6. Kitchell had a notion, but the Hawks got back. This is Marv Albert with Steve Brody from the campus of Indiana University, Bloomington, Indiana. Final of the Mideast Regional. Isaiah throwing it away. It has been a low turnover period for Isaiah Thomas, but that time he gave it up, and a foul called on the Hoosiers. Kitchell picks up his first.
7 minutes into the ball game, a 10-6 score. Once again, St. Joseph would rather have the slow-down game. I think this, though, with the Indiana extending their defense and the spread offense of St. Joe's, I think because they are a little bit quicker, they're going to be forced into offensive situations. I think they have confident offensive players. I think you'll see a lot of shot attempts.
All right, Jeffrey Clark. He's in the backcourt with Brian Ward.
Marv, I want to expand on my earlier statement, too. I said that if McFarland and Williams can combine for 30 points, they can possibly win the game. Williams is their leading scorer over the season, was held to 1 point in Friday night's game. McFarland, a streak shooter coming off the bench, was just 2 for 9 from the field. I think both those players need big performances today.
Lonnie McFarland is a 6'5" freshman who we will see very shortly. And Bo Williams 0 for 7 from the floor against Boston College here on Friday night.
McFarland, of course, was the most valuable player of the Catholic League last year in Philadelphia and then won the Markwood Award.
And again, you hear the crowd reacting to the deliberate style of St. Joseph's. Isaiah Thomas off the steal. Isaiah looks to be hesitating, Steve. That ankle might be bothering him.
Well, I'm surprised at the number of times he's gone inside and not gone and completed the shot.
Ray Colbert hitting his second field goal, and Indiana now leads by the score of 12-6. Colbert has had a tremendous shooting season, 59% from the floor, and led the Big Ten with 63% shooting. John Smith Costner over Kitchell. Landon Turner off the board. And here's Isaiah Thomas. Notice how he checks the floor as he moves across. And the foul called on Boo Williams of St. Joseph's.
Year after year, Indiana probably more than any club in the nation, a team you can't make mistakes against. I think shot selection can also be a mistake. Here you see the overhead shot. Once again, Indiana extends their defense, forces offensive action, forces the steal here. Quick defense often results in quick offense.
And back to the live action. Indiana in possession. They lead St. Joseph's 12-6. Nice feed from Isaiah. Landon Turner with his first field goal. And the Hoosiers have opened up a 14-6 lead with 9 minutes gone by in this first half. And an ovation from this partisan crowd here in Bloomington. Nice dump-off pass from Smith to Williams. So Boo Williams with his first field goal, and Indiana now leads by the score of 14-8. Beautiful feed from Thomas to Kitchell, and the offensive foul is called. Kitchell is called for the charge.
Indiana getting a taste of their own medicine, because on the game Friday night, they must have drawn about 10 charges from UAB. Here you see Costner in just great position. Notice the pass. I think Isaiah Thomas has better floor perception than any player in the country, even in defensive pressure. There were 3 people on him when he got rid of the ball.
St. Joseph's in possession, trailing now 14-8. And a foul away from the ball. It's on Costner of St. Joe's. That's his first.
Costner got in early foul trouble Friday night and was very ineffective. He has been foul prone this year, possibly towards the middle of the season when he picked up so many fouls he became a little hesitant. He is that type of player. When you get in foul trouble, you must go and play your same game.
Indiana by 6. Isaiah with the move on Smith. Finds Kitchell. Isaiah Thomas. Yes, and it counts.
All right, if this is going to surprise you, don't let it. In a man-to-man situation, Isaiah Thomas runs the baseline constantly. He's used to playing inside. You know, so often it's not the big guy gets the rebound. It's being in the right place at the right time, and of course the quick jumper. Isaiah didn't even hit the jump for that one. Just got where he was supposed to be.
And it was fouled by Costner, who committed his second. Indiana leading 16-8. Jeffrey Clark, played by Isaiah Thomas. As you know, later on today, we'll be picking a player to receive the most valuable player of the game scholarship award. That'll be later on. Jeffrey Clark, with his second field goal, has 4. So Indiana by 6, 16-10.
Isaiah's got it. He's going to take it in.
Landon Turner, his second field goal from Isaiah Thomas, and Indiana leading by 8, 18-10. And thus far, the Hawks of St. Joe's have not been able to hold on to that basketball, have not been able to slow it down against the Hoosiers.
Well, that was Indiana in its ideal situation. Their best ball handler and their best baseline shooter hooking up for 2 points.
And the foul call away from the ball. Boo Williams committing the foul for St. Joseph's. A timeout called now by the Hawks of St. Joe's. 9:05 remaining first half. It's Indiana by 8. Immediately following Indiana and St. Joseph's, we'll go to New Orleans for the Midwest Regional Final between LSU and Wichita State. A battle for the last ticket to Philadelphia next Saturday's semifinals, and then Monday, March the 30th, it's the prime time extravaganza of the championship game. This is it all on NBC. LSU, Wichita State upcoming with Dick Enberg, Billy Packer, and Al McGuire. Indiana by 8, 18-10. Just under 9 left in this first half. And Indiana in possession. Harv Albert along with Steve Brody from Bloomington, Indiana. Isaiah Thomas in the backcourt with Randy Whitman. Kitchell, Colbert, Turner up front. Turner is for a field goal as 6. And the last few moments he has been allowed to operate down low.
Well, and Turner, the type of player that really needs to get off to a good start. He's gotten a couple early baskets. If that happens, he's usually a big factor in the ballgame.
John Smith going baseline. Hostler trying to keep it alive. Nice save by Turner. This is Isaiah with Clark back. And offensive interference called on Indiana. So St. Joseph's will take over.
Well, and I'll tell you what, Ray Tolbert, year after year, game after game, will come up with at least one of those type of dunks throughout the ball game. If you've ever heard some noise, when he gets one of those, look out.
Bobby Knight does not mind that call. That's a message to St. Joseph's.
It's an aggressive offensive play. You love aggressive play.
Now St. Joe's getting set to insert the freshman, Lonnie McFarland. Warren. And rebounded by Kitchell. There's Whitman. Yes. Indiana by 12. 22-10. 7.5 remaining in this first half.
Whitman, a 54% shooter on the season. He had a big night Friday. 20 points, 7 for 11 from the field.
Here's Warren. And the foul on John Smith of St. Joseph's.
Well, I'll tell you, anytime you can keep them off the boards like this, something that Indiana does so well. Once again, defensive rebounding, it's a staple. You've got to do it. St. Joseph's, I don't believe, has had one second chance basket in the first half.
And that's the 16th foul committed by St. Joseph's. The Hoosiers red hot. St. Joseph's not able to hit their shot. Whitman. And Indiana has pulled away to a 24-10 lead. And St. Joe's wants to talk it over. 6:50 remaining first half. Indiana by 14. Now let's return to our studio for these messages. And there is Kay Lyman, the wife of St. Joseph's coach Jim Lyman. Jim was an outstanding player on the only St. Joe's team to get through an NCAA regional, the 1961 St. Joseph's Hawks, who lost to Ohio State in the semifinals. And Ohio State had a player by the name of Bobby Knight.
And he's a very charming character. He's a throwback to the old times, one of the dead-end kids you'd expect to turn on the Late Show and see him in an old Bowery Boys film.
Lonnie McFarland has come on now for St. Joseph's, wearing number 34, 6'5" freshman out of Philadelphia. St. Joe's needing firepower desperately before they're completely blown out. Here's Smith using glass. He's been off. Isaiah Thomas for Indiana.
And during that timeout, Randy Whitman has evidently come up with an injury. They wrapped his thigh. He's now gone into the locker room. If we can get an update, we'll give you one.
All right, Jim Thomas has come on for Indiana.
There you see Randy Whitman, number 24, headed to the locker room.
And he's sitting down with 4 field goals for 8. We'll pass on a report as we get it. McFarland off the fake. Landon Turner. This is Jim Thomas. Nearly turned it over. And Isaiah has problems. Clark has a 3-on-2 for St. Joseph's. And the foul call. A blocking foul on Indiana. Ted Kitchell committing his 3rd.
I think when you finally see the end result of this turnover, you're going to see a little bit of intimidation. Clark's got a very easy layup, but look, he jumps in looking for the foul instead of going up with the good concentration and getting the easy basket.
He's an 86% free throw shooter. He's been bothered recently by a strep throat, as has John Smith. That's the first point for St. Joseph's in some time.
Now watch. Here's the secret. When you go in for a layup, you jump vertically. You jump up towards the basket. In this situation, he jumped forward. You lose your balance a little bit. You lose concentration. A bad angle. He missed the layup.
Ted Kitchell sits down after picking up his third, replaced by 6'8" senior Steve Risley. 24-12. Indiana with the lead.
While the score has been doubled now, remember, St. Joseph's, their last 4 ball games have come from behind. In the post-conference championship, there you see the action underneath. In the post-conference championship against Americans, come from behind. In their other playoff games, they've come from behind.
Near turnover, but he stepped on the baseline, so Isaiah Thomas will throw it in. This is Jim Thomas. And the foul on Landon Turner of Indiana. And for the Hoosiers, their 4th team foul. St. Joe's will take over. They now have Brian Warwick and Jeffrey Clark at the guards. Tony Costner up front with Lonnie McFarland and Bo Williams. This is McFarland. 5.5 left, first half, off the fake. And rebounded by Jim Thomas of Indiana. Here's Isaiah on the pull-up. And Clark comes away with it. So a rare miss for the Hoosiers.
McFarland on the other end is a streak shooter, but he's trying to shoot the difficult shot. Landon Turner at 6'8's got about 4 inches on him. He just needs to be patient and get a better look at the basket.
Costner, yes. Tony Costner with his second field goal. And Indiana now leads by 10, 24-14. And this crowd here in Bloomington, Indiana, urging their Hoosiers on. The winner here today goes to the Final Four in Philadelphia, meeting up with the winner of the Midwest Final. The game coming up here on NBC, matching LSU and Wichita State. Ray Colbert hitting his 3rd field goal. He has 6 points, and Indiana now leads by 12, 26-14.
Again, you see Indiana, they extend their defense, force offensive action. They want to see play speeded up.
Traveling violation call, good hands by the Hoosiers.
And when you talk about Indiana's running game, you know, they used to be the team that would really move it inside. They've been a team that's been big, beefy players. Isaiah Thomas has really transformed this ball club into a fast tempo, run it down the floor team.
Grizzly, Jim Thomas, and Isaiah met by Clark. Just under 4 left in this first half. Nice feed from Grizzly. Landon Turner. His 4th field goal has 8. He has been playing his best and most consistent basketball the last 4 or 5 weeks. And he and Randy Whitman are the high man with 8 points.
Well, and as I said earlier, he's most consistent on the baseline. That's the shot he'll make time and time again.
And the steal by Thomas. Isaiah has Jim Thomas with him. Indiana by 16, 30-14. And Jim Lennon looks to talk it over again. 3:22 left, first half, as you look at the sea of red here in Bloomington. And the Hoosiers of Indiana now have taken a 16-point lead.
And for Indiana fans, this is probably a replay of the entire season. Indiana, more a team defensive unit rather than outstanding individual defenders. But if there is one great defensive player, Isaiah, he's got all the talents, the quick hands, the speed. How about one more time? I think the result will be the same.
19-year-old Isaiah Thomas, the youngest of 7 boys in a family of 9 children. The man that makes the Hoosiers go. And a look of desperation on the face of Jim Lyman.
And you can see the beads of sweat starting to roll down his forehead. No question that the 30-14 heat is starting to get to him.
In contrast to what took place in their earlier games of the NCAA, St. Joseph's has not been able to get a handle on this one. They have not been able to take control.
I know how tough it is to play here. In my career, there were 3 games that I did not score a point. 2 of them in this very building. An extremely tough place to play.
Simple explanation, Steve. You choked.
Well, if you asked anybody down here in Indiana, and they told me that themselves.
Steve, the one-time co-captain of the University of Michigan, and a key member of that Michigan team that lost to undefeated Indiana in 1976 in the championship game.
And of course, Indiana, maybe a little deja vu, as if they make it to the Final Four, back to the Spectrum, where they won that one 4 years ago.
All right, still lots of time remaining. We have 3:07 remaining in this first half. But Indiana with the big lead, a 16-point margin. John Smith for Warren. And the steal, Grizzly picking it off. Isaiah just picking spots. Colbert for Turner.
You saw previously the shooting percentages. No secret, watch Indiana. They're not going to shoot till they get a good look at the basket. And sometimes they won't even shoot it when they get a good look.
There's Turner. And Jeffrey Clark comes away with it. Jeffrey Clark, who recently received a questionnaire from the Dallas Cowboys. They're interested in him, although he only played high school football. And it's called against of St. Joe's. The charging foul, and for John Smith, it's a second personal.
Well, once again, team defense. Indiana, probably better than any team in the country at drawing the charge. Here you see, a little bit quicker across the front line. They beat you. So important for your other players when you penetrate, go to the basket, your other players must get themselves in position to score. He had no one to lay it off to after he drew another defender, the resulting charge.
And St. Joseph's over the foul limit. Grizzly not able to take advantage. 30-14. Indiana with the lead. 2:05 left in this first half. The final of the Mideast Regional from Bloomington, Indiana, on the campus of Indiana University, and 17,000 are here. Some 400 folks from Philadelphia rooting for St. Joe's, and had their opportunity right there. There have not been many in this first half. Jeffrey Clark now has 8 points.
Clark, a good shooter. Last year, he played the shooting guard. The point guard graduated. He's made the transition now. He runs the offense, but obviously a capable shooter.
Again, Landon Turner with excellent position. And he has 10 points. 32-16.
And I think when you look back at the first half, you're going to notice very strongly that Indiana has gotten the easier attempts at the basket.
Bo Williams looking for Costner, but he was fronted. Now here's Tony Costner willing in. Yes. Let's see, did they give him the basket? Offensive foul was called on Costner. His third, and the basket does not count.
Well, when the camera's down on St. Joseph's offensive end, I hate to repeat myself, but notice the team defense. Thomas drew the charge that time. His man was on the other side of the floor. He saw the inside situation developing, got himself over there. Team play, that's how Indiana wins it.
1 minute left. First half. Indiana in possession. 16-point lead. Jim Thomas. Back for Isaiah. Landon Turner. Now Colbert setting up down low. Now they interchange, and Turner moves down low. 30 seconds to go, first half. And again, the Hoosiers looking for the good shot. 22nd. Culver, nice take. And the foul on Turner. Landon Turner committing his second personal foul. And there is Mrs. Bobby Knight. Nancy been on the calm side here this afternoon with,
understandably so,
Indiana with the comfortable 32-16 lead.
And normally in that situation with 15 seconds to play, Bobby would have been up off the bench screaming because they shot the ball. But with a comfortable lead, you might as well go for it.
Isaiah Thomas committing his first personal foul. 16th foul on Indiana. 7 seconds left, first half. John Smith. Here's Jeffrey Clark. And Isaiah knocking it away with 1 second remaining. And a hand for Isaiah Thomas as Clark gets set to inbound. Here's McFarland. And that's the end of the first half here in Bloomington, Indiana. A convincing first half for the Hoosiers as they lead St. Joseph's of Philadelphia by the score of 32-16. The preceding message brought to you by from the floor. They were out-rebounded 14-9, while Indiana 16 for 24, led by Landon Turner, 5 for 6, Ray Tolbert, 3 for 4, Randy Whitman, 4 for 4, and we've received word that Whitman suffered a thigh bruise in the first half, probably will not play in the second half. St. Joe's scoring. High-point man Jeffrey Clark, 3 field goals, 2 for the line for 8 points. But that's about it. Smith was 0 for 3. Warwick 1 for 5. McFarland 0 for 3. Williams 1 for 2. While Indiana, on the other hand, with the hot shooting, led by Turner and Tolbert. Whitman 8 points. Turner leading the way with 10. Isaiah Thomas 2 for 5 from the floor. 7 assists in the first half.
Well, and coming into the ball game, we thought that it was going to be very important for St. Joseph's to get about 7 or 8 second chance baskets on the offensive end. Indiana missed 8 shots. St. Joe's had 9 rebounds. The numbers tell you they got 1 offensive rebound.
32-16. St. Joseph's with a long way to travel. In the second half, they've reached the Final 8 by beating Creighton by 2, by shocking number 1 DePaul by 1 last Saturday, beating Boston College by 1 here on Friday night. St. Joe's comes in after winning the East Coast Conference Tournament, a record of 25-7. Indiana coming in at 23-9, the champions of the Big Ten. The Hawks of St. Joe's controlling the tap. They are in the dark uniform. Nice move, but again, Williams not able to hit. Bo is now 1 for 3 from the floor. And he's averaging 13 points per game coming in. Jim Thomas now in the backcourt with Isaiah, with Randy Whitman not available. Ray Tolbert. John Smith off the boards for St. Joseph. This is Jeffrey Clark. He and Brian Warwick at the guard. Williams posting down low, but having difficulty. And the outside official says jump ball. It's a 5-second violation.
And I think it's very significant that the first 2 times down the floor, they looked immediately to go into Boo Williams. They got to get the easier shot at the basket, and I think they've got to get Boo involved in the offense.
Landon Turner able to control it, and here's Isaiah pulling it out. Capacity crowd better than 17,000 here at Assembly Hall in Bloomington, Indiana. It's a sea of red throughout. And Thomas. Go for Thomas, the sophomore from Fort Lauderdale. Lauderdale, Florida, his second field goal. He had a good one here Friday night against Alabama Birmingham, going 27 minutes after Landon Turner got an early foul trouble.
Well, from this picture right now, you can see how St. Joseph's is trying to spread the floor and operate inside.
And Costner was fouled on the play. Tony Costner was hacked. Landon Turner picking up his third.
3 offensive possessions, 3 attempts to get the ball inside. The closer in, the better percentage. And I think, too, could they get some people in foul trouble, possibly gain an advantage?
3 apiece now on Turner and Kitchell. Tony Costner is playing with 3. Tony, one of the most sought-after players in the history of Philadelphia high school basketball, played at Overbrook High School.
And, of course, he and McFarland, 2 of the real prize recruits that they landed. Costner probably has given this program the credibility that, say, an Aguirre has for DePaul, a local kid who stayed home.
Overbrook High School in Philadelphia, also the home of a fellow by the name of Wilton Chamberlain. This is Ted Kitchell, followed by John Smith. Isaiah Thomas. And he fires. His shooting has been off, although he's been feeling him out pretty well. Warwick. It has not been a friendly rim for the Hawks. Now the crowd looking to spark the Hoosiers. Jim Thomas. It has been a friendly rim for the home club.
Well, it doesn't look like Indiana's going to do anything wrong. St. Joseph's in a man-to-man defense now. They can't afford the luxury of sitting back in that zone. Surprisingly, Friday night, they did play their best basketball in a transition game. They've obviously they need some points in a hurry now.
And they're shooting way off. Bad shot by John Smith. 36-17. Indiana with the decisive lead. And shortly we'll see Lonnie McFarland off the bench. And a St. Joseph's foul call. Jeffrey Clark commits his third. Here's McFarland replacing Smith. Lonnie was not able to hit, missed 3 shots in the first half. This is Jim Thomas replacing the injured Randy Whitman. Left with a thigh bruise after hitting 4 of 4 from the floor in the first half. Three-second violation call.
You talk about the thigh bruise to Randy Whitman. Ask Lee Raker down in Virginia how that can affect your play. Of course, if you watched the games yesterday, taken out just because he was in so much pain during that ball game.
McFarland looking inside, but picked off by Kitchell. And it's a 3-on-1 for Indiana. Jim Thomas from Isaiah. Indiana 38, St. Joseph's 17. McFarland back, so is Isaiah. And a irate Jim Lyman, looking for a traveling violation, does not get the call, and he wants to talk it over again. Beautiful 2-on-1 off the steal to give Indiana a 40-17 lead. Landon Turner for Isaiah Thomas. For Turner, and it's goodbye.
Marv, notice the defensive position. Here comes the steal. Kitchell, his man on the complete other side of the floor offensively. You want to know how to run a 2-on-1 fast break, watch Isaiah Thomas. The defense is so intimidating here at Assembly Hall. Landon Turner, once again, 2-on-1, back and forth. This is a travel. 1-2, no dribble, but...
And St. Joe's was looking for the traveling call. 40-17, Indiana well in command. St. Joseph's in possession. Warren is just not able to hit. Clark detected by a foul. And Clark will go to the line. Ray Tolbert committing it. And that tells the story. Indiana maintaining that pace just under 70%, and the Hawks of St. Joe's just can't buy one.
Well, and you know, this is a very distracting building to shoot in. You look at the basket, there's so much red and white, very bright colors, that it is very hard to focus your attention on the rim. I think from practicing here day after day, Indiana, obviously, I would suspect if you looked at the percentages, they would outshoot their opponents every game.
Was that the reason you had difficulties here, Steve?
Well, as you can tell, I'm very good at making up excuses. That will go retroactive back to when I played, of course.
Did you tell that to the press after the game? Somehow I don't think they'd buy it.
You mean I don't sound convincing?
Your credibility has suffered a little. Steve Brody, who played many a game against the Hoosiers of Indiana here as a member of the University of Michigan, a team that lost to Indiana in 1976 in the NCAA title game. Indiana with a 22-point lead. 4.5 minutes have gone by, second half. This is Kitchell. And the foul call. Ward commits his first. And Ted Kitchell, 6'8", 210-pound junior from Galveston, Indiana. One of the fine foul shooters in the Big Ten. At one point, he hit 24 in a row and hit 84%, which was second in the Big Ten.
And Kitchell, about 4 or 5 weeks ago, took a real bad spill, got a groin injury. He hasn't practiced for, well, over a 2-week period. He only practiced one time. He's just now getting back into basketball condition.
Hasn't really played well recently as a result of that bruised back injury. Here's John Smith coming on, and Jeffrey Clark will sit down. He's the only Hawk of St. Joe's who has had anything resembling shooting range here this afternoon. Clark with 9 points, 41-18, a walk away for the Hoosiers, looking to the Final Four in Philadelphia. And the Indiana foul call, it's a holding call on Kitchell. And that's his fourth. Coming up after Indiana and St. Joseph's, we'll join Dick Enberg, Billy Packer, and Al McGuire at the Superdome in New Orleans, where they'll be screaming for LSU as they go against Wichita State. Nice pass, and Boo Williams has his second field goal. 41-20.
I don't know if St. Joe's will catch up. In fact, I doubt it, but I guarantee you they're going to play till the end.
Well, I would hope so.
They're not going to leave.
This is Kitchell. He'll be replaced in just a moment after picking up that fourth foul. Steve Risley over at the scorer's table, getting set to come on. Jim Thomas and Isaiah. Kitchell will get one more in before he departs. Boo Williams. Warren around Thomas. And the steal by Isaiah.
Look out.
Ray Tolbert, who telegraphed that one from center court.
I was here to do their final game of the year. They had the senior awards. They spoke after the final game. The crowd cheered and cheered until he would go in and slam down his last dunk.
The basket comes and the foul.
He's going to jump into you, okay? He's going to jump into you before you go.
Take a look at this one. It's even more fun when you know it's coming. If we could see his eyes, I'll bet they're as big as the ball. Yow. Excuse me.
Tolbert with his fourth field goal has 8. Landon Turner picking up the foul, his fourth, so he and Kitchell with 4. 3-point play for Brian Warwick. 43-23. If this were a close ball game, the Hoosiers would be in difficulty because they have 2 key members in foul trouble.
All right, now Indiana is going to spread the floor.
Landon Turner, 14 points. for the junior from Indianapolis. 45-23. 17,000 plus here at Assembly Hall, and most of them on their feet. Jim Thomas unloads back to Isaiah, and they'll start it all over again. Nice pass for Risley. A senior from Indianapolis who hurt his back in practice the other day and has not been himself as of late, able to come through with his first field goal, and a timeout again called by St. Joseph's. 12:37 remaining in the game. It is now Indiana 47 and St. Joseph's 23. Well, as Brian Double mentioned at halftime, we might see a smile from Bobby Knight before this day concludes. Immediately following St. Joseph's and Indiana, we switch to New Orleans for the Midwest Regional Final between LSU and Wichita State. That's a confrontation for that final ticket to Philly and next Saturday semifinals, and then Monday, March 30th, it's the prime extravaganza of the championship game. This is it all right here on NBC. St. Joe's in possession. Costner, nice fake, and he hits on the follow. 7 points for the freshman Tony Costner, 47-25. Indiana with the huge lead with 12 minutes remaining. Risley brings it back outside. Risley coming on for Kitchell, who had picked up his 4th personal foul. John Smith off the steal. Ronnie McFarland with his first field goal. Oh, Indiana now leads by 20. 47-27. Trap Isaiah, and now up on Jim Thomas. Thomas using glass. And a 22-point Indiana lead, 49-27.
And they make it look so easy.
Ryan Warren. Assembly Hall in Bloomington don't like it as Landon Turner has picked it up. That's his fifth. So Turner has fouled out, and he hears the ovation from the crowd, sits down as high man with 16.
Well, Warwick just does a great job. Pump, pump, pump. Looks like he got a lot of ball, but Mitchell right in position, whistles it down, number 5.
Turner will be replaced by Glenn Grunwald. Grunwald wears number 40, 6'9" senior from Franklin Park, Illinois. Against Boston College on Friday night, Bryant hit 7 of 11 for 20 points, and his 2 foul shots won it with 21 seconds left in the game.
Warwick has been a tremendously clutch player for St. Joseph's. Last year alone, hit 5 winning baskets with 8 seconds or less left in the ballgame.
And St. Joe's in the past has been a buzzer basket specialist. Thus far this afternoon, they have not been close enough. It has been a wipeout for the Hoosiers.
Well, they may get a basket at the buzzer, but it's not going to be a very important one.
McFarland stepped out. Bobby Knight's Indiana teams have been known for the late rushers. They have won 9 of the last 10. They have peaked right at tournament time. Risley. And McFarland being chased by the Thomases. The hacking foul called on Isaiah. Ronnie McFarland will go to the line to shoot 2. Isaiah Thomas picking up his 2nd personal.
As we mentioned earlier, Isaiah Thomas, you know, he hurt his ankle yesterday. It was the left ankle. They weren't even running. They were simply walking through some defensive assignments. Somebody stepped on his foot. He tried to pull out, and he pulled a tendon in his left ankle.
The only effect I see here today, Steve, is that he has not been going to the drive as frequently as he might. Has picked up the assist, taken some shots from the outside, but he's not going straight down the lane.
Right. Staying out of that traffic close to the basket.
And a timeout called by Indiana. 10.5 remaining in the game. The Hoosiers of Indiana leading St. Joseph's 49-30. St. Joseph's of Philadelphia, winners of the East Coast Conference Tournament. They reached the Final 8 by beating Creighton by 2. They astounded the nation by knocking off number 1 DePaul by 1 last Saturday and beat Boston College by 1 this past Friday night. Not one of the thrillers in a slow-down, methodical game on Friday. Indiana won the Big Ten. And last Saturday, they clobbered Maryland 99-64. That got the attention of the nation. People saying, hey, this Hoosier club looks to be awfully strong. And then they beat Alabama Birmingham 87-72 on Friday night.
Bobby Knight, the Big Ten Coach of the Year, and they won that conference in the last 2 weeks of the season. 2 games to play. They were down 1 game. They won twice. Iowa got beat twice. They end up on top.
Isaiah Thomas fouled on the play, although St. Joe's looking for a push. Boo Williams picks it up. That's his second. There's Marcellus Boo Williams, senior out of Hampton, Virginia. He was able to move to power forward with the addition of Tony Costner, the freshman center. And Isaiah Thomas, who Friday night scored 27 points, along with 8 assists and 3 steals. He's had 22 assists the last 2 games, committing only 2 turnovers, which is incredible.
I think that sums up Isaiah Thomas right there. Incredible.
Indiana by 21, 51-30. Indiana with the torrid shooting, and St. Joe's having all kinds of shooting problems. St. Joe's did not shoot very well against Boston College on Friday. Here's another 2-on-1. Isaiah takes it all by himself. A tough rebound by McClellan. Warren. His third field goal has 9. 19-point Indiana lead. The Hoosiers have won 3 national championships back in 1940 in the second NCAA tournament, then 53, then 76, and looking to head to the Final 4 in Philadelphia next Saturday. Glenn Grunwald, the senior who just came on, hitting his first bucket, 53-32. Indiana by 21. Costner working inside. He lost the handle.
And while it might not be a close game from here on out, if you're a young player, if you're a young coach, watch the Indiana team handle the defensive pressure. They do it with the pass. Learn a few things.
Well, look at high atop Assembly Hall, and they're proud of those maroon flags. 1940, 1953. 1976.
And the 76 flag says, thanks Michigan on the back.
With a picture of Steve Grody. Jeffrey Clark has come back now for St. Joe's. Just under 9 left in the game. And it has been an Indiana clinic here from the opening minutes on. Ray Tolbert will go to the foul line. It was clobbered by John Smith, who picks up his third.
Well, and I think this is just a matter of saving a little pride. They know what's going to happen to the crowd if they allow him to go in and dunk this one. There you see it. Smith, a good jumper.
Ray Tolbert has hit 25 straight from the foul line.
You had to say it, didn't you? You had to do it.
I have the ultimate jinx. I was talking about the excellent foul shooting of Ted Kitchell. I did it to St. Joe's. Actually, it's even, though. Well, he's 26 for 27. 54-32. 22-point goal for the Hoosiers with 8.5 remaining in the game. McFarland over Grunwald. And rebounded by Tolbert. Thomas, Isaiah Thomas now in the backcourt. Grunwald, Risley, Tolbert up front. Landon Turner has fouled out. Hoosiers of Indiana using a little clock right now. Under Bobby Knight, Indiana 13-4 in NCAA play. In fact, Bobby, the only person ever to play both and coach an NCAA championship team. A sophomore at Ohio State where the Buckeyes won it all back in 1960. And he coached Indiana to the NCAA championship back in '76. Indiana wasting a minute. 7:15 left in the game.
Well, this will be of course, the backs have already been broken, but you got to believe Indiana's going to come up with the layup. They're going to be overplaying the ball, look for the back cut. If somebody should get a dunk, the crowd will let you know.
Now just under 7. Not much that this man can do about it. Jim Lyman, who was able to weave a Cinderella story with the Hawks of St. Joseph's, but they will fall far short here today. Jeffrey Clark picking up the foul. That's his fourth. Now McFarland sits down and Boo Williams returns. Jim Thomas and Isaiah. Mrs. Tolbert had a notion but changed his mind.
You probably noticed that St. Joseph's has used just 6 players. You know, they have been hurt a little bit by injuries. Second game of the season, they lost Mike Morrow, one of their starting forwards, probably their best outside shooter. And then a little bit later, they lost their first frontline player. And I had his name here.
Mark Dearborn.
Right, Dearborn.
Out with a fractured tibia.
Right.
Now we approach the 6-minute mark as Indiana spreads it out. Isaiah Tolbert and the foul.
Well, it's time for the spectacular.
Isaiah looked like he would unleash the shot, but he saw Ray Tolbert, and he was hit by Tony Costner, who collects his 4th personal foul.
Take a look at a couple great passes. Now watch this. Certainly a tremendous way for these Indiana seniors to play their last game in their home floor.
And Ray Tolbert, after hitting 25 straight from the foul line, has had some difficulty here today.
Thanks to you.
Well, the whole state of Indiana has to be. John Smith, and that's only his first field goal of the day. He averages 11 per ball game. John, of course, scored the winning basket against DePaul last week. 5.5 remaining in the game. Isaiah over the outstretched arm of Boo Williams.
You know, I guess the one thought that crossed my mind when I looked at the final 4 teams in this regional, sometimes you can lose your competitive edge if you don't have tough ball games. I think Wyoming suffered that when they played Howard in the first round and then got beat by Illinois. They did not play well after the Howard game. But I think, obviously, Indiana very sharp. I don't suspect that that would happen to a Bobby Knight ball club.
Indiana will go on to meet the winner of the Midwest Final, LSU Wichita State. Jim Thomas just adding to that enormous Hoosier lead. It is now 60-34. Play's been stopped for some reason. Apparently Indiana started out of the backcourt, and some debris was thrown on the court. I should say St. Joseph's. So play was stopped. 4.5 remaining. Here's Clark. And Ray Tolbert was racing down looking for a lead pass. Thomas trying to hit Grunwald on the move. Substitution for St. Joe's. Tony Costner returns. And John Smith will sit down. John, a fiery player.
You know, did not have a scholarship first year out. Went to one of Penn State's campus universities, played very well, picked up a scholarship. He'd been sick throughout the week. A couple of their players had sore throats, whatever. He was probably affected more than anyone else.
Right now, they're just playing for the box score, with Indiana up 60 to 34. Isaiah Thomas from Grunwald, and the foul call on Grunwald.
And very often in situations like this where you want to get your best players out, and I was going to mention before Isaiah gets that ankle injured anymore, they should get him out. And there you see, he's gone to the bench just now.
12 assists for Isaiah Thomas. He's replaced by sophomore Tony Brown. Isaiah had his foot stepped on in practice yesterday. It was said to be an injury that would not bother him, but it's obvious that he has not been looking to go to that driving game, although he has played very well, running the Hoosier offense, not looking as offensive as he might, but has done the job here today as Indiana's had a very easy time against the Hawks of St. Joseph's.
Well, certainly the closer you get to the basket, the more likely it is that you'll come down on someone's foot and turn that ankle again. And I don't think there's any question that he pulled up a lot more today than he would normally.
Jeffrey Clark looking for his 11th point. 60 to 36. Indiana by 24. So Isaiah can relax the rest of the way.
And let's not forget, 3.5 minutes to play, we've got to come up with an MVP. How good are you at this?
I don't know if we can react to that kind of pressure.
Oh, I don't know.
You can take your pick among the Indiana Hoosiers. Grunwald not looking to take advantage of the overplay. Indiana just playing the clock now.
Foul on the knee.
It's Tony Costner. And we have him for number 5. That's it. So Tony Costner, the 6'10" freshman, a hero in the break game, hitting the 2 foul shots in the final seconds. And St. Joe's opening NCAA victory has fouled out and sits down with 7 points. Steve Carney, 6'11" senior from Falls Church, Virginia, wearing number 40, has replaced Costner.
Well, Marv, I'm going to give you a minute to think about it, but I think I've got my MVP. I'm going to let you, like I said, give you about 60 more seconds.
Bill Mitchell comes on for St. Joseph's. Bill, freshman, Wallingford, Pennsylvania. And Jeffrey Clark sits down, goes over to the Indiana bench to shake hands. Clark gets a hand from the crowd. He's with 11, and he's the high point man for St. Joseph's. That'll give you an indication of the way things have gone for the Hawks here this afternoon. This is Mitchell. McFarland. And the foul committed by Grunwald. Lonnie McFarland, who is 1 for 2 from line, will go to the line. Phil Eisenbarger getting set to come on. There's Phil, number 44, 6'8" senior out of Muncie, Indiana, and a hand for Jim Thomas. So the Hoosiers of Indiana will face the winner of LSU and Wichita State. That is coming up here on NBC with Dick, Billy, and Al, followed by NBC's Sports World. Much to come. Just the start of things here in Bloomington. Lonnie McFarland now with 4 points. 62-38. 3 minutes remaining of the game. Colbert. Yes. And it counts.
And I think he'll be the next player to come out and get a standing go. Take a look at it. You know, Ray Colbert probably better than any center in the Big Ten anyway at getting up and down the floor. Really adds to this running Indiana offense.
And Bobby Knight says that Ray Colbert should be the most valuable player in the Big Ten. 14 for Colbert, and he hears it from the crowd. An ovation for Ray Colbert. Steve Bushey, who played very well on Friday night against Alabama Birmingham, has come on. Now committed by St. Joseph. So Bobby Knight able to get his bench on the floor. Steve Carney committing the foul. And another Indiana substitution. Mike LaFave, 6'9" freshman out of Indianapolis. Steve Risley sitting down. One for Tony Brown. There's Risley. A happy group of Hoosiers who are headed to Philadelphia for the Final Four next Saturday. Indiana keeping it in play. With his first field goal, and a 30-point Indiana lead, 68-38. Pass intended for Kevin Springman, another freshman who's just come on for St. Joseph's. Eisenbarger, number 44, committing the foul. 2.5 remaining of the game. The winner here, the Hoosiers of Indiana, to go up against the winner of LSU and Wichita State from right here, the Superdome in New Orleans. That is coming up here on NBC. And back in Bloomington, Kevin Springman, the freshman from Doylestown, Pennsylvania, appearing in only his 9th game of the season.
Well, St. Joseph's has a lot to be proud of, come a lot further than a lot of people expect. Of course, that Widmer Cup still up for grabs out east. This goes to the best basketball team in the eastern part of the United States.
Chuck Franz, another recent addition to the Indiana line. Tony Brown not able to hit. And offensive interference indicated. Bobby Knight, despite the big lead, was upset.
I think he's programmed himself, regardless of what the score is, to get upset with the officials.
Bill Mitchell handling it. Tony Brown all over him, and the foul committed by Brown.
And the amazing thing about the Indiana fans, they are always in the ball game. You heard the reaction after the whistle.
And the St. Joseph's cheerleaders are still in it, as Bill Mitchell, a point guard from Wellingford, Pennsylvania, will go to the line. 1-1. Bushey off the board. This is Eisenbach for Franz. 2 minutes left in the game. Bushey not able to hit. Nice hit. Mike LaFave, the freshman from Indianapolis, with the field goal. 7-39. And a foul on Eisenbarger. Another St. Joe's substitution, 6'5" sophomore. Tony DeCaro has come on. Steve Carney will go to the line. sits down, leaves with 9 points. A minute and 35 remaining. Boucher, yes. Steve Boucher, the sophomore from Washington, Indiana. Little chaos here in the final minute. So the Hawks of St. Joe's will have themselves a spectacular NCAA tournament now. Will go back home to Philadelphia, and they'll be taking in the Final Four as spectators. But St. Joe's, certainly the Cinderella club of the NCAA. They reached the Final 8 by beating Creighton by 2. The shocker of the season, they knocked off #1 and the top seed DePaul by 1 last week in Dayton. And the win over Boston College by 1 here on Friday night.
And Jimmy's going to start getting old before his time. 8 of their 46 wins over the last 2 years have been by 1 point.
Boucher puts the brakes on. Eisenbarger not able to hit. And McFarland comes away with it. Well, the most valuable player for today's game, 6'10" junior, Landon Turner. From Indiana University, and Chevrolet will donate a $1,000 check to the General Scholarship Fund of Indiana University. This money to be used to assist students in furthering their chosen academic fields of interest. Landon Turner, the MVP. Eisenbarger with his second field goal, and it's 74-40.
And you know, Indiana, a ball club that's got a lot of depth on the bench, but when Landon Turner plays well, he really ends up being the missing link to the Indiana offense.
Now the foul underneath. Steve Carney will be sent to the line once again.
Landon's a great offensive player inside, surprisingly quick inside, and I think when you get to the Final Four, he could be very instrumental in their success.
Had a big one against Maryland, scoring 20 points, grabbing 7 rebounds. Tony Brown committed that foul. St. Joe's coach Jim Lyman, who had a year that will long be remembered in Philadelphia basketball. Not too many folks thought that St. Joseph's would be here in Bloomington. 30 seconds remaining. Nice move. Eisenbarger with his third field goal has 6. It'll be Wichita State and LSU from the Superdome in New Orleans coming up a little bit later on here on NBC, followed by Sports World. Kevin Springman, and it's 76-44. In all Indiana, they have shot exceptionally well. Of course, by Graham. Chuck Graham's coming it home. The Indiana bench going bananas. As time has run out, but the foul call just before the buzzer. And Springman will go to the line. It's 1-1 for Kevin Springman. This will just make the arithmetic final. So Springman with his 4th point. And all that remains is the official final score. And there you have it. Indiana has defeated St. Joseph's 78-46. Now let's return to our studio. Check that. We're going to hold it right here. On the court with Hoosier fans celebrating the victory. Indiana with the easy win over St. Joe's of Philadelphia, 78-46, led by most valuable player Landon Turner, who finished with 14. Ray Tolbert had 14. Isaiah Thomas with 12 assists, finished with 8 points. Jim Thomas had 12. For St. Joseph's, the high man was junior guard Jeffrey Clark. He had 11. No one else in double figures. Very poor shooting by St. Joseph's. The Hawks never able to get into the slow-down game. It was Indiana right from the start. They shot just under 70% in the first half. Led at halftime 32-16. And Indiana makes it 24-9 on the season as they go to the Final Four in Philadelphia, and they will face the winner of our second game. The game coming up from the Superdome in New Orleans, matching LSU and Wichita State. All right, Steve Grote is all set with Indiana coach Bobby Knight, so let's go down to the floor. Here's Steve.
Coach, in a regional with such heavyweights as Kentucky, DePaul, Maryland, you end up playing Alabama, Birmingham, you play St. Joseph's. Were you ever concerned about your team getting ready to play?
Oh, Steve, you've played basketball long enough to understand. I remember when you were a senior at Michigan, you guys got knocked off by North Carolina Charlotte. Do you remember that?
Unfortunately.
All right, so you're going to play teams that have earned their way here. St. Joe's, Alabama, Birmingham, Indiana, and Boston College played their way into the regional. They earned their way here, and we're just very happy to be the regional representative in the finals. Very pleased to see you in a red coat. Looks a hell of a lot better than the blue coat that most people from Michigan wear.
Now, you're going back to Philadelphia. Obviously, a lot of good memories. I would think you'd want to play Michigan in the finals again.
If we could bring you guys back, we'd enjoy doing that. But, you know, we had a great game in Michigan when you were a junior up there, a great game in Philadelphia. Who knows what will happen? We're just very tickled to be going, Steve.
What will be your schedule now? Will you take tomorrow off? How will you start preparing?
Well, we'll come in tomorrow and go through what information we have on the teams that the team that wins the regional down in New Orleans, either Wichita or Louisiana State. Start familiarizing our team with that, and then we'll work Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday and go to Philadelphia on Friday.
Your team has played so well towards the end of the season. I thought particularly Landon Turner and Ray Tolbert, their offensive play has got to have been a key.
One thing that was great for us today was that Turner came back after a very poor game yesterday, or Friday, and came back and played pretty well today.
Bobby, thanks a lot.
Okay, Steve.
Congratulations. I'm going to go back to Marv right now.
All right, Steve, Indiana has beaten St. Joseph 78-46. Moments ago, Steve talked with 3 of the Hoosier heroes.
All right, from left to right, Ray Tolbert, Landon Turner, Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah, you first. Obviously, we want to know about the ankle injury. It seemed to me today that when you went to the basket, you tended to pull up a little bit. Is the ankle bothering you?
Well, it didn't bother me as much. When I tried to jump, it's kind of like a little sharp pain, and it kind of threw my shot off a little bit because I couldn't get into the shot the way I really wanted to.
You certainly felt at home when you got the lead. The defensive pressure had to spread. That's your game, opening it up.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier for me because I can penetrate and give it to Landon and Ray, and they can really get involved in the game, and it makes it a lot easier for our offense to flow smoothly.
Landon, MVP, you've got to be very happy. You had, midway through the season, you had a little slump, lost some playing time. You've been red hot now.
Yeah, I was going through a little problems. You know, I had to go through a lot of stuff. You know, I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. Now I know what I had to do, and now I'm just putting it to work.
You love the baseline jumper.
Yes, I do. I think that and my hook shot is my most effective shot right now.
Yeah, thanks for Coach B.
Who would you guys rather play, LSU or Wichita State?
Really doesn't make us a difference. You know, we have to take everything in stride. Whoever we have to play, we'll just play them.
Ray, very quickly, your jam dunk, that's what everybody loves to see.
Well, I sort of enjoy it. The crowd loves it. My teammate loves it. It gets us going. It gets the adrenaline going. And it's just a good spark plug for us.
All right, fellas, tell me where you're all going.
Philadelphia.
All right, thank you.
They are on their way to Philadelphia, and it's a very tough club. Going to be tough to stop the Hoosiers right now. Are they well coached? They are playing very well. They showed it to St. Joe's of Philadelphia today. Turned them back right from the opening gun. Opened it up to 24-12, 32-16 a half. Never looked back. Coasted home. Final in the ball game in the Mideast Regional, 78-46. Tough day for the Hawk of St. Joe's. Jeffrey Clark hitting here, one of the very few baskets St. Joe's was able to get. Meanwhile, Indiana operating on all cylinders. Ray Tolbert from inside, he finished with 14. Isaiah Thomas, right here, off a rebound, short jumper. He finished with 8 points. Landon Turner, number 32, he was to prove the game's MVP. The turnaround hook, 14-10 in the first half. Randy Whitman pulling up the baseline, 8 points overall. They broke up 32-16 at half, and then Isaiah Thomas with one of his 12 assists. Everybody should have such a bad ankle. Landon Turner scoring on a stop. A pass from Thomas one more time. Did he walk? Well, referee said no. Hardly mattered. They won it easily by 32. Ray Tolbert, this is the dunk he was telling Steve Grote about. Yes, it was all inspiring. Isaiah Thomas, just a sophomore. but the man-child is leading the Hoosiers on to Philadelphia, where they are going to meet the winner of the LSU-Wichita State game. Let's take a look at our Final Four bracket. You know 3 of the entries. It's going to be Indiana going against either LSU or Wichita State. The other one will be an all-ACC affair. That'll match Virginia against North Carolina. And as we look ahead to that LSU-Wichita State game, I'll look one more time at the 3 largest crowds in college basketball history. Could be rival today. The third mark could anyway. In the Astrodome, UCLA-Houston drew over 52,000. In the Silverdome, Notre Dame-Michigan grabbed over 37,000. And Friday night in the Superdome, as LSU beat Arkansas, they did it before 34,036 fans. And now they are stepping to the center court to face Wichita State in the Midwest Final. Let's go back to Dick.